Caught Offside with Andrew Gundling and JJ Devaney.
Oh, yes-ish. Caught Offside from just outside of Philadelphia and from an apartment in Brooklyn, New York. Andrew Gundling and JJ Devaney on a weird World Cup night. What's up, brother?
I think we should start with some distraction. J at burner J _. Random thought that I'm not sure has been addressed on any pod. Matt Turner looks like Andrew.
Does he? Do you see it?
So I would say in the white guy setting at the white guy factory, you guys come under the setting stubbly white guys with decent hair.
Here's the deal. And I've said this before, not about him specifically, but about me. I am generic white male. I look like whoever you want me to look like.
You're the top selling product at the white guy factory.
I look like everyone. I look like no one. I'm a shapeshifter. I can be whatever you want me to be. I've been told I look like Matt Turner. I've been told once by Osi Umenyiora, actually, that I look like Clint Dempsey when I buzzed my head back in 2011.
The fact that Osi Umenyiora said that is kind of makes it like a,
it's kind of neat. Yeah,
it's kind of
just an interesting thing. I was told once when I was in college that I kind of looked like Ben Affleck.
No, sorry, I'm going to cut you off there.
Okay, I'm just telling you what I've been. You can agree or disagree.
You have a more triangular jaw. You've kept. I would.
These are just all the ones I've heard.
You've got a good jawline compared to Affleck, who, when he gets fat, the jawline goes. And you've never had any surgical help with that.
No, and I never will. So I won't say you're wrong. I won't say you're right. I'm sure in the life of this podcast, if we do it for another 30 years, I'll be told that there's 30 other people I look like, because I look like everyone, because I'm generic white male.
I think if I got a little bit of hair product, a Turkish jersey, and had you stand in a certain light, I could convince people that you were the reserve right back for the 2002 Turkish national team. You are an everyman. Everyman.
Do you remember during COVID when I didn't get a haircut for about 7 months?
Yeah, people
and I came on this pod, and someone, not in a funny way, you posted a picture of me on the Twitter account.
Yeah.
Just to show people like, wow, look at how long his hair has gotten. But somebody didn't realize that was what you were doing. And they actually thought that Lil Dicky was on the show. And I put a picture of him with his long hair next to my face. I was like, oh my God, I do look like him. But again, I look like everyone because I'm a generic white male. So yeah, I won't disagree with any of it.
This is an unbelievable way to deflect from the US posting a 3-2 loss to Turkiye tonight in Los Angeles.
This is from Opta Joe, JJ.
Oh boy.
97-50. Kaan Ayhan's goal for Turkiye was the second latest winning goal on record since 1966 in the FIFA World Cup, after the Islamic Republic of Iran's Rouzbeh Cheshmi's goal versus Wales in 2022 at 97-56. Just 6 seconds short of the latest winning goal in World Cup history. It's a weird, the reason this one is weird is because I think if they had just lost normally, it sort of would have been easier to just walk away from the TV and been like, okay, on to the next one. But you couldn't help but get sucked into it. Like, this was a very interesting night in that it was a friendly that did a really good job of masquerading itself as a World Cup match. The crowd was hype. The intensity to the game was definitely there. There was a little bit of chippiness. It was back and forth action, a lot of goals. If there was even just like something remotely at stake in this game tonight, it would have been one of the best games of the World Cup. So it did a good job of basically masquerading as a important game that mattered, and it was hard to just remove that feeling at full time. But I think as time goes on, I think I will be able to be like, okay, like, we're healthy. We sat our yellow card guys. Everyone's good to go. We got Bosnia, which we'll talk about, Bosnia Herzegovina as the matchup in the round of 32, which I think the U.S. should feel good about. So there's more to feel good about tonight than there is to feel bad, but it's a gut punch. It's a gut punch to lose a game like that in a World Cup.
I think the 9 changes that were made, thus bringing in players with something to prove because it's a World Cup game. Like, that's the thing me and you probably didn't factor in. Now, we're extremely busy and we've been pumping out podcasts. So maybe we're not covering every angle, but the fact is that you're going in to impress. For some guys there tonight, that might be their only World Cup game. It's certainly their only one that they start. And they had to go hell for leather in the game. And then, so you've got that kind of motivation on the US side. And then on the Turkiye side, you've got going home to, and excuse me, I can say this because I have Turkish friends, a batshit mental country for football where this kind of disgraceful performance at a tournament with countries they would spit upon as rival footballing nations will not be acceptable. So they needed to go home with some modicum of pride. They will still be reviled amongst the footballing intelligentsia in Turkey for what they've done or rather not done at this tournament, but they needed to finish their game against the great Satan with a I shouldn't use the term great Satan, that's an Iranian term, but they have to come away from the US with a win, and they got that. I'm dead serious. I know Turkish people. There's a huge Turkish diaspora in the United States, and it's amazing that this is only their 3rd World Cup. Like, it's mental to me considering the kind of players they've produced. Albeit, I remember them going to Lansdowne Road in 1990 in a European Championship qualifier and getting thumped 5-0 by Ireland. So, like, the uptake in Turkish football, the arc of Turkish football has been a slow forming arc. But this tournament's been unacceptable. Andrew, Turkey tonight had an intensity about them that if they had applied to those other 2 teams in the tournament, a desperation, I would say, this game would have had much more writing on it, and they would have already qualified. I mean that sincerely. They did not get to this pitch or these levels in the previous 2 games. Now, I will say against Paraguay, their prolificacy was incredible. How they did not score, how they did not win that game 2-1 or 3-1 or 4-1 if you want. So maybe I'm reading too much overall into this game, but there was certainly against Australia. They were so poor against Australia. There's going to be a lot of regret after putting up this performance, albeit it wasn't a full United States team. You can say in the last 20 minutes, it certainly was closer to a full United States team. It had some crucial players on. But my point being, what we had was something we didn't really factor in. On one side, on the US side, players desperate to prove a point and desperate to stay in with a shot of featuring in the rest of the tournament, and a team that was going home and needed to prove or regain a quantum of, what would you say?
Pride, dignity.
Pride, dignity, whatever term you want.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would say, Turkiye are going to be remembered as one of the biggest disappointments of this tournament. I think it is important to keep some perspective here. However they're remembered, they're not as bad as that.
They just aren't. They really aren't. And if I it's amazing what the World Cup does to you. You stumble across a lot of Turkiye fan podcasts online, and there was one from a British Turk, so a Turkiye supporter, grew up in Britain, British accent, but obviously supports the Turkiye national team, and he was all in on basically pounding on Vincenzo Montella for the way he had them playing, for the selections he made. I think Montella got it right tonight. You saw why me and you feared these guys coming into the final game, and why you did not want to have anything to do with them in terms of we need a result here. You wanted your business wrapped up early.
Yeah, the US were probably fortunate with how the schedule shook out, where if they took care of business against Paraguay and Australia like they did, they gave themselves the luxury and the opportunity to have this game not mean anything. And props to them for doing that because yeah, Turkey, I still believe that's a good team. And I'll give this US team some credit because like it was a World Cup B team. I know Maurizio Pochettino hates those terms, but it was. And they fought hard. They played, in certain patches of this game, I thought the US were actually excellent. They scored some great goals. They look good on
Mm.
set pieces. We can go through the game itself, and some of the goals
We
and some
can
of the
in a
big
second.
moments.
I'd just like to say to you though, Andrew, that I don't want to suddenly start, moving the goalposts a little bit in things that we've said before. Um,
How am I doing
well,
that?
you're not, but I don't want to move into B team territory too quickly because there's lots of players there that are playing at a very high level in Europe and players that we've talked about, players that we've said, don't they give us so much more depth? Don't they give us this and that? And I won't say that they were like found out. Found out's not the right term, but I thought technically there was an intensity to Turkey that overwhelmed the US at periods in the game for sure, certainly in the first half and towards the end of the second half, definitely. But there was also, I thought, Turkey at times when they moved the ball, passed the ball, showed themselves to be technically far superior to so many US players. I'm not saying to the full first team squad, which we didn't see, but to so many US players tonight.
Uh, yeah, I would agree with that. But there were also stretches of this game where I thought the U.S. I don't know if it's out hustled or just you know field tilt towards the US's way. There were,
Yeah.
I mean, like when Pulisic came on,
Oh, definitely.
I mean, it was
Definitely.
just like that was kind of what sort of reminded me of like, okay, like I don't know if we had our guys going tonight, things might have been differently. He came on the field, and I in the first 5 minutes he had like there were three chances created, bang, bang, bang. Um,
I think he offered us so much when he came into the field. That crossfield ball where he chested, read the chest perfectly, read the commitment of the defender and chested it, and he's straight in.
Such a great pass from was
Um,
it Bearhalter that made that
yeah,
played that
and then
ball to him?
and then Reina, I would say, with one of his few telling contributions, clipped that ball over the top where Pulisic just took that little bit heavy of a second touch
Mhm.
that it was the Turkey defender could get in across. The deflected mess that that uh, uh, Kakir, the Turkish goalkeeper, tapped onto the post, and then that whole thing aside, like I still think Pulisic gave us a lot. He got smashed a couple of times, one in particular, and I was so glad that he got those contacts because the one thing you want. A friend texted me and said, "Do you think he's moving cautiously?" And I said, "There's bound to be a level of caution in a game that doesn't matter." But I saw him get smashed twice. One in midfield in open play, where he got done in the chest. Like it was again. I'm speaking about the Turkish intensity, and he shook it off and got up and was fine. You
He got
want,
pissed with the one. He got his leg kicked
yeah,
out, and he kind of got on the. I forget who that was for Turkey, but he got in
good,
the face of him, and
yeah. But that's him being like, he's like that anyway.
yeah.
But that's certainly him recognizing that he has an injury. Um, yeah, we should go through the game in a second, but yeah, I thought it's so interesting. From an Andrew Gundling centered point, you've been cast as something of a Benedict Andy throughout this. Do you worry that it's one of Andrew's people that absolutely ripped it up? I thought Goulier was unbelievable tonight. I
Is
thought,
he one of my people?
oh
Have I
yeah,
said?
oh I think so.
I don't know. I don't not
I
like
think
him.
you hailed Xabi Alonso for giving him his run and getting him into that squad.
I think he's very good.
Oh, I think he's fantastic,
And
man.
and I
Tonight
mean,
was the most amount of nutmegs I've ever seen
oh
executed.
my God, it was
It was
a little
staggering.
ridiculous.
It was, I
And
mean,
I guess it was fitting that, it was, Goulart and Pulisic. going head to head in 90+7, and Goulet won that battle. He
Yeah,
megged him, played it across goal. Bit of a scramble after that. The U.S. couldn't quite clear. An unfortunate bounce to a Turkish player, and that's your ball game.
yeah, definitely. I also think he has some kind of black wrapping on his right leg or left leg. But I thought Kenan Yildiz as well was very, very good. I thought Yilmaz ran the line so well, caused problems all the time. Uh, Ozcan in midfield as well put in such a shift. Um, there was, I want to say it was, I can't be 100% sure, was it Ozcan doing some covering or El Mali? But there was a ball over the top um, for Tim Weah that he won, and he just ran him down like the Terminator, nipped in, took the ball away. Weah is another one we need to speak about
Yeah,
because
we'll go through
yeah,
performances
of course we
and
will.
game
I'm sorry.
stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm
No,
jumping
no,
ahead here.
yeah, yeah, it's all right.
If you want to go goal by goal
I mean, the last while we're doing just kind of like the more broad stuff before we get into some of the more.
can I make a broad point now? And I promise I'll let you speak, but I have so much things running through my head, and this is a good game to steal you for opposition down the line. This is a good game. Technically, they may be going home, and you can say what you want about that. Technically, they are miles superior to what we're about to face in the round of 32. Miles. The US, with their full contingent of players out, should handle Bosnia in a very straightforward way. I think it would be an absolutely significant failure to lose to Bosnia in the round of 32 now.
Agreed. I think we all have to. I mean, it's no offense to Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I think the U.S. you have to have come away from this group stage, even this Turkiye match tonight, and think that this U.S. team has raised the bar a little bit as to what proper expectations are. We said before this tournament, simply getting out of the group was never going to be enough. And if you had told us even before we said that the team we were going to face, what's Bosnia and Herzegovina's FIFA World Ranking? Are they in
Well,
the
I'll get it
like
up
50s or 60s, something like that? I mean, like
well down the line.
it has you have to win this game. You
Yeah.
have to win this game. Um,
And they
so
will. They will.
well, I certainly hope so. Yeah, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the game, Turkey for whatever you're right, like technic
64th in the world.
64th, like you have to win.
Mhm.
You have to win. Um, Turkey, technically, they're very good. They did have a really good account for themselves tonight. Their XG, uh, it was very high. I think it was 2.7.
Wow.
Um, but it was a weird one though because they had three shots on goal. They scored three goals. They had three big
Mm.
chances created. They scored three goals. I think their XG was so high because I mean they did have some chances, I suppose, but like the three goals they scored were from what, like 8 yards, 4 yards, and 2 yards. Like they were
But it's the moves, and it's how
sure, sure.
devastating the moves were. Like, I mean, it was one shake of the shoulders on the equalizer that sent McKenzie spiraling and sent Miles Robinson trying to figure out what the hell to do. And the
Yeah,
next thing, Gouglair finished from 6.5 yards out. I mean, Jesus, Mary and
right.
Joseph, like
So
it was.
the chances they created were brilliant chances, and it looked good, and you certainly had moments. Again, putting aside the fact that the U.S. may not have had their preferred 11 out there all throughout the game in spurts, they had certain players, but like you definitely came away from watching certain points of that and being like, how did this team not find a way through Australia or Paraguay? Like that team is too good to have been this disappointing at this tournament. But like I said, and we'll go through it, it wasn't necessarily a Turkish barrage in this
No,
game.
no.
And I think the U.S. with some of these guys out there who, you know, under normal circumstances wouldn't really play in this World Cup. I think that the U.S. there probably are some positives that some of these depth pieces can take away from this game. I will say, as we go through it, there's some other players tonight. This was the first game of this tournament, I guess, where I'd say, and it makes sense because the U.S. lost. It's the first game of the tournament so far where there are players in the game where I'm like, okay, he did not. I was not impressed by player X. We talked about the first two games for the U.S. and one of my biggest takeaways was I think everyone played great. Like I can't really pinpoint anyone where I'm like, you weren't up to it. Who else do we have in reserve that can maybe do a better job? At no point did I think that from the first two games. Coming out of this game, there were definitely some players where I come away from it thinking, I kind of see why you're not option A.
Yeah.
And we can go through it now. Like you said, 9 changes made. In some ways, it almost feels like 10. Ricardo Pepi did start the last game, but yet I still don't necessarily view him as a nailed-on starter for this team. I think that was out of a change of circumstance with Pulisic not playing. So I do sort of feel like it with 10 changes, McKinney being the only quote unquote regular for this one. And I think that, there was, I wouldn't say split feelings as to how Potts should handle this. But there might have been some people who thought, oh, maybe we want to blend it a little bit, or I think Potch. I don't have any discrepancy. Matt Freese and Matt Turner might be the only one where I thought Freese has seen very little action and he doesn't have much big game experience. It might not have been the worst thing in the world to get him a little bit more, but I feel like I'm splitting hairs in that. Overall, great that the yellow card guys didn't play. We go clean slate into the round of 32. Pulisic, I think it was the proper amount of run out, and now he'll leave this game feeling, okay, I made it through, and I played really well, actually. So now that can be just like a thing of the past. It's dealt with, it's over, and we got our guy back. Some of these depth guys got a chance to experience the World Cup, and they played well. Austin Trusty, I mean, scoring his goal. Berhalter scoring his goal. Some great moments for those guys. So in the end, I have no complaints, no issues with how Pochettino handled the 11 and substitutions for this game.
No, and I think some players needed to play. I think they needed to feel the action, be out in the field in a full house in Los Angeles and be part of a World Cup. I thought it was essential. Some guys just didn't show up really. Some guys had performances that left you in no doubt as to why Pochettino is seeing what he's seeing and why they're no longer pushing for starting positions.
Yeah.
And then a couple of guys, including McKennie, had difficult nights.
The start of this game was brilliant. And the U.S. have done this now consistently in this tournament. I mean, this one was the earliest significantly, but I don't know if it's just riding the wave of emotion off of these national anthems and the whole stadium singing together and just like this immediate adrenaline rush pushing them through the first 10 minutes of these games. But, right out of the gate, second minute, corner kick, you got chaos. Berhalter's ball, it's like a seeing eye single in baseball. It finds its way through. I don't know if that was intentional. Such a low kind of ground ball corner kick through the box the way that it was, but it finds its way into the middle of the box. Turkiye have a hard time clearing. U.S. probably should have scored there. It was a great save. Another corner kick, great start. And then sure enough, on the ensuing corner kick, goal. Berhalter with a great ball, back post to Trusty, who cushioned it so nicely, smashed it home, bang. And, once again, the U.S. striking first in these games. 3rd minute tonight, 11th minute versus the Aussies, 7th minute versus Paraguay. Turkiye, we'll get to their goal in a sec. They did come back, but, it was kind of a reminder early in this game that the U.S. were in this position that they're just not often in World Cups, it feels like, where they'd been playing with a lead for so much of the time throughout the course of this tournament. It's just, we've seen this team in the past. Their DNA has been more of, like think about 2010, having to fight back against Slovenia, having to find a way through Algeria, going down in the round of 16 against Ghana and fighting back in the second half, taking it to extra time. Like this team has been the opposite. They've just been playing with leads for so much of the time. Now that would change, but I do think it's a good sign once again that this team is scoring goals early and putting the other team under immediate pressure. I think that's great.
Yeah, and I think Sebastian Berhalter, there was a couple of times where I thought he was harried and struggled in possession in that first half when I talked about that Turkey intensity. But you cannot doubt or quibble about his delivery on set pieces. It's so good. How Austin Trusty is free at the back post? I mean, he's not like, do you know what I mean? He's not small.
No,
He's
and
not
he had time. He had, like sometimes you'll see that back post ball, and the point of it is for someone to head it back across the face of goal. Like
right, right, right,
he had time to cushion it to himself to
and
smash the
smash it.
shot home.
Yeah.
It was
And it was
great.
very good. And it was an interesting. I have a friend who's been talking about the way the World Cup ball has been moving. This is becoming a little bit of a talking point. It's always a talking point at tournaments, but my buddy has, and he is, believe me, a proper scientist, a proper man of science. Um, so I will be back. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but probably soon with a bit more of a chat with some scientific evidence about the way this ball moves.
That was a thing with the Jabulani too, right? At South
Yeah, and he
Africa.
references the Jabulani.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's kind of I mean the Jabulani, the players hated it. And
They said it
Maradona,
was like it was very light. It was almost like a volleyball, right? Wasn't
yeah,
that how it was described?
it was. And it also was one of the first balls. I think it might have been the first ball that had no seams that were like hand stitched in any way or machine stitched. It
Mhm.
was a seamless ball, and therefore that is going to change the way the ball moves in the air. But if you watch the way Trusty hit that ball and how true it was, I'm not saying that's not good technique. Of course it is. But yeah, that's becoming a conversation because Joe Hart was talking about how so many goalkeepers are getting their hands on this ball, but yet they can't stop it going into the net. Remember, I said to you about the Mbappe goal against Senegal. Who was it against? Iraq. How the way it moved, like a dead straight, and I was like, the Iraqi keeper's got to do better there. Jeez, like, but apparently there's something about the ball, and I did see that definitely on the Trusty shot. How he's unmarked, I don't know, but it's a great goal, a great start, and credit to Turkey. You have to give them credit considering the tenor of this competition for them, how poor they've been. Um, how often they've gone behind and struggled. That they were just like, okay, whatever happens here, we are not leaving this stadium without some pride being restored. And Arda Güler's goal in 10 minutes. Defensively, it's so bad
We
for
looked like
the
such a mess. And I don't want to make it just about the US. Turkey did that to us. That was a wonderful team goal. The way they carved through the midfield and
yeah,
I mean, they had just guys, defenders running everywhere. There were many
definitely,
chickens with heads cut off, running
definitely.
around the
Do you
field.
think? Do you think if we're going to go into it, like the mistakes from it's McKenzie that goes short and then kind of gets um, or comes out and kind of
So,
get.
I mean, there's a few kind of trigger points that I look at with this. The
Mm,
initial one, like it's tough to always ask a guy to deflect a ball, but like the initial pass that starts it all goes right through Sebastian Berhalter.
yeah, yeah.
You'd like for him to have maybe busted it up there, but that stuff happens. But then immediately McKenzie is pulled out of position. Scally then maybe is a little late to cover. Miles Robinson, he does get across, so I don't know if it's as much Miles Robinson. Um,
Do you think Turner should have come out further? He was seemed very rooted.
I didn't think that. I'd have to watch that again. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Goulier was right in on goal there. Like, come out and make him do something or narrow things. It just felt like he was rabbit in the headlights kind of thing. I'm going to hold here now. And by the way, it's gone through his underarm. It's not touched him, but like he
Yeah.
did he did make a decent effort at trying to get to it. I just thought Turkey's movement at that period in the game was so superior um, to ours that it was like, oh, this is problem. This is a real problem, and it could get away from us, and it did.
Yeah, I mean it looked like what we thought they were going to look like in this tournament.
100% what
That
they
that's
thought they were going to look
yeah.
like.
Yeah. And they did start to grab a little bit of hold of the game. Now the US did too. I know it was only a couple minutes after that McKinney had a great driving run and he played it off to Aronson who had his shot blocked. Um
I thought he had a
or
poor
McKinney
night, Aronson.
yeah. So the guys tonight, if we were going to talk about some of the players that I thought had a chance tonight and did not make the most of it,
Mm,
he would be one. I thought Tim Weah was a
dreadful.
total zero tonight.
Yeah, I thought. Now, in fairness, I thought he was handled well by the fullback, very well by the fullback. But
But like there were like speed moments where
He
I
got
felt like
done.
Tim Way, yeah, and I was
You
just
know
like,
what's
I'm not
interesting?
used to
So
seeing that.
so I gotta give one of our listeners some credit here because yeah. So Cody, I think it's Cody Noor. Whale looks so slow, I'm straight up confused. If he doesn't have pace, then he's got nothing in his tool belt. I thought he was much quicker than that.
He is. I don't
And he got
know.
done. Like he had there was that one diagonal where he chested in behind and he's away and you think, Jesus, he's off to the races. And the Turkey fullback just runs him down. And I'm like, oh my God. He came off, he didn't look good.
No, that was the Pulisic sub. And I kind of wondered as Weah was coming off and it's Pulisic coming on, and the crowd obviously was so hyped for Pulisic to be back. I wondered would we get a smile from Weah, like a big hug of Pulisic to welcome him back, and he did not look he didn't look pleased. I don't know if that's because he was coming off or just because maybe he knew it wasn't a great performance for him. I don't know, but yeah, I thought he was disappointing. Um, Ricardo Pepi, I thought was, I mean, in the first half, especially, I don't know if I heard his name even mentioned a single time.
How much of that is a service issue?
I mean, that's always going to be part of it, but
Um,
yeah.
were we expecting him to drop off, like do a cane on it and run into space and link the play? Maybe
Well, that was
because
something we liked about him in the Senegal friendly.
100%, yeah, and it just didn't seem to happen. There was one moment where he showed his real frustration in the first half, where Turkey were on top, but we won the ball back on a Turkey attack in our own box, and we just booted it long. And I saw him scream at either Berhalter or whoever. I don't want to. I shouldn't name names because I'm not sure who just wellied it,
Hmm.
and he just got so frustrated because it was an opportunity to kind of to do exactly that thing, which is to play it into his feet and progress your way out of the Turkey attack. He got so angry because like he's still in our minds a kid, but this guy is playing at a high level. He's playing and scoring in the Champions League. He's playing at a high level in the Dutch Eredivisie, and in his brain, if you're a striker and you're scoring goals like he is, you're thinking, I can contribute here. I deserve to be on this field. That's the
Sure.
mentality of a striker. And um it's kind of it's kind of interesting to see that level of frustration with what he saw in front of him. Uh that's partly he feels like the players around me are not getting the ball to me. So
Yeah.
I'd be slightly reticent to give him too much um in terms of the negative column there because it's a tough one there. It's
Hmm.
a tough one when you're not getting. If I was going positives, I would say I thought Scally did well.
Oh, really?
Oh, go on. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me. No, no,
Well,
please tell me why I'm wrong.
I mean,
I don't mean that in an aggressive way
no,
at
no, I
all.
know. Well, I thought, I mean, at least partially on the first two goals, he was a bad actor in one way or another. I mean,
Do you hear you with your Do you hear you with your talk?
I'll have to go back
We're
and
afraid of bad actors who may use this against us.
well, I mean, look, we're recording this like right after the game, so I haven't really gone back to rewatch highlights yet or anything like that. But it felt like on the first goal, like I said, I thought he might have been a little late to help. And then the second goal, you know, on that overlapping run, it just seems like he doesn't know who to track, and so he doesn't really cover anyone.
Okay.
And I feel like that kind of allows that goal to happen. Now it's not just him,
Ah.
like he doesn't track the overlapping run. It allows that ball to be played.
Okay, fair. That's
And
fair.
then the other problem on that goal, like when I did go back and rewatch that
Weston
second goal,
McKennie.
no, for me it was Miles Robinson. Like again, similarly to Berhalter on the first goal, where I know it's like you can't always deflect every ball near you, but I don't know when I rewatched that second goal, I feel like the ball goes right through Miles Robinson on the cross that directly leads to the goal itself. Um, I just feel like if you're a World Cup level center back on a team that's thinks it can make some noise in a tournament, that's just like You should be able to handle that ball. So on that second goal, I kind of looked at Scally and Miles Robinson, but I certainly didn't see enough from Scally tonight that would cause me to put him like at the bare minimum. He's just kind of like a
I,
net neither positive or negative.
do you know what? This is the this is the if we're talking about net, this is the net result of not getting to watch the game back and just talking straight away. You're probably dead right. I thought on the second goal, McKennie's the one that loses it and it gets turned over in front of the goal in an area where I just don't want that ball being lost 25 yards out centrally from the goal. I just don't want that happening. And I think it's
Sure.
McKennie where that happens. And that creates um a knock-on effect as to where the fullbacks are going to be if they think he's going to maintain possession, etc. And I'm not making excuses. What you say, I'd have to go back and see it again. I just would. And I would probably agree with you. In fact, I'm just going to take your word for it on that. I thought in general play he was okay. He was pretty good. I didn't love McKenzie. I didn't love Robinson. I just didn't as a partnership.
Yeah, I mean they're you know like there's a reason. I know Poch loves Tim Ream. And you could tell that, I think, from
Mm.
watching. There were certain takeaways you could gather from the HBO documentary, and I just kind of took away from that like it felt like those two guys have a connection. But in the end, Tim Ream, while he has good qualities, and we've seen him at his best, I think, so far in this tournament. So total props to him. But like he's a 38-year-old center back in MLS. And if he's starting for this team, it means that Poch has seen stuff in McKenzie, Miles Robinson. Maybe you can even throw Austin Trusty in there. Like there's a reason that no one can unseat Tim Ream beyond just the leadership qualities that Ream has.
Mm.
And so I think you saw some of that tonight. I think you did. That stretch of the game was a big kind of turning point stretch. Because Turkiye scored that goal in the 31st, but a minute, 2 minutes before that, we thought the U.S. had gone back in front on another set piece on a corner kick. We thought
Yeah.
McKenzie had scored, and I think he was rightly ruled offside.
I was
There's,
miles off.
but like I know there's the gray area of when the ball comes off of the opposing team, but I think they're correct. Like there's no controversy there. Like that was not an intentional play of the ball. It was a total deflection. So yeah,
Yeah.
he's offside. But it was one of those big moments where it felt like a 2 goal swing. You thought the U.S. had just scored, and then a minute later, you're reeling from Turkey carving through the defense once again, and
Yeah.
them now going in front. So that was a very frustrating stretch. As the half wore on, you started to worry a little bit about Sebastian Berhalter.
Yeah.
Um, Started to, he's fiery, man. He is, and that can be a great thing. But he kind of lives on the edge. Tyler Adams can be like that too. It's not the worst quality in a defensive midfielder to have some of those like bulldog tendencies. I was kind of surprised, to be honest, that when they came out, he was on a yellow, and he's still like even after that, he's still committing fouls. He's still sort of mixing it up with other guys. I was a little surprised at the start of the second half that he was still on the field. I thought was going to make a lot of substitutions at halftime, and I thought for sure Berhalter on a yellow card, being feisty in the way that he was, would probably be one of them, and he wasn't. And Poch was immediately rewarded for that decision on a tremendous goal from Sebastian Berhalter. Uh, Long
Yeah.
throw, ball pinged around, falls back to him, and we know he's got a leg. I mean, we see him on set pieces. He can hit a ball, and you can't hit it much cleaner than that. That was a
I
brilliant
think the
goal.
fact he hit it into the ground really helped it as well. At one point, I thought it took a deflection off the leaping Weston McKennie. McKennie did so well to pull his heels out of the way of that. It's gone right underneath him, and it's obscured the view of the goalkeeper. But he's hit it into the ground, and it's a great strike. Um, it's interesting the importance of set pieces for this team in this game. It was
Yeah, I know.
massive, absolutely massive. Relied on it for the clear cut chances. And again, I would say if you're noting concern, which I think we should have coming out of a defeat, it's how the clarity of chance that Turkey were able to create and execute versus the US in open play being able to do that. I mean, the one off the post from Pulisic was just some kind of mad deflected scramble.
So I will say this: the US's XG from open play. Now, it was not what Turkey's was. Turkey's XG in open play was 2.54, which is very good. The
Yeah,
US's was still more than respectable. XG in open play was 1.57, and their XG on set pieces was 0.49.
mm,
But one point, I think, when Pulisic came on, I think that probably helped because
sure.
he was such a factor in open play in creating chances for the U.S. How about JJ when um, Pulisic they Turkey kind of played off of him, and so he was like, "All right, I'm just going to leather this with my left foot." How about John Strong? He started to go into his. Did he say he scores? He
Yeah,
started to go
almost.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, almost
I
got
mean, it
there.
was very close, but he very much
Pulisic
didn't score. I
scored,
think John Strong was just like willing
and the
that
United
happen.
States.
Um,
It's
it
when
was
he starts to
close.
run his words together, in those high register moments.
Yeah, it
Yeah, it
was
was
close. It was
close.
a great, it
Listen,
was a
listen.
great shot, but yeah,
I think Pulisic did change the dynamic to have someone out there who's gonna go, who's gonna take players on, who beats a player almost with his first touch. That was really, really good. It goes to show his importance to the side. Like it was a different side when he was in on the field. Um, Knowing the person he is, he's going to be raging about what Gulair did to him. Just like
I know.
that's he won't sleep tonight. He won't sleep tonight because that's adrenaline as well. It's hard to sleep after games as well.
Yeah.
That's gonna haunt him. Like,
Well, I hope
just
that can be channeled the right way,
oh no, it will. I'm not saying it's gonna like he's gonna suddenly start writing a manifesto and then we have to worry about him. Like
like
no, I don't.
like he's like Steve
Yeah,
Buscemi and Billy Madison.
yeah, exactly.
Goulaire, Arthur Goulaire better call him so
Yeah,
his name can get crossed off and Pulisic can put some lipstick on.
it's not going to be that, but it's like it's one of those when it led to the equal or to the winning goal, I should say. It's hard to take.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was that, I would say, 15-20 minute period after halftime where you thought the US actually were going to go ahead and see this one out comfortably. Turkey did not create a ton in the second half, but they
No.
still had that ability to move the ball, and that is why we thought so much of them, and that is why it's hugely disappointing for them this entire tournament. Um, they've got technical quality that a lot of teams would kill for,
Mhm.
and they haven't really had an out and out center forward pure goal scorer since Hakan Şükür. They really haven't, and there's there's an argument they still don't. I mean, there's not an argument. It's clear they still don't have one. If they had one, yeah, you'd wonder where this team could end up. But even still, they found a way to win right at the end. Can I be honest? All biases aside, parking everything, that winning goal, I know it's a good punch for the US. I know it was hard to take. It's a brilliant goal. It's a brilliant goal.
Yeah.
Ah, come on.
Well, I mean, like the U.S. deflected it. It just happened to
They've
go
got
to a Turkish
nothing. They've
player.
sent two guys to shut down Arda Güler in the corner. He
No, that
finds a
that
way.
part of it was
He
awesome.
finds a way out to get it back to a guy who can cross it in. Finds its way to the far post. The guy threads the needle through uh, Turner and then through Freeman for who was it that scored it again, Andrew?
Um, Khan Ayhan.
Kai Kanahan to tap it in. Do you know what? I definitely think there was elements of like we can, we can, we can't even go home with a 2-2 here. We cannot leave the World Cup without a win. I really
Yeah,
believe
if
that.
that had ended in a draw, the U.S. would have felt like I think the U.S. would have felt better about that
Oh
than
yeah.
Turkey,
Oh,
undeniably.
and I think I know it's a different world now that we live in. I would imagine in 2002, every one of the Turkey players were only delighted to go home as as heroes because that was a brilliant World Cup for them,
Yeah.
and greet the adulation of the crowds. That would not have been the case for this team. This team would have got pilloried. They would have got the full treatment. And the Turkish media, like I said, some of the diaspora media that I saw was just Vincenzo Montella was getting it. In fact, to the point where I didn't think Montella would be over the team for this game. That's how bad it was. Who looks quite professorial on the sideline.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
glasses.
Yeah. He's almost like if if the Swiss manager got a glow up, that's where he starts. He starts at Montella, and then like if a stylist from Los Angeles gets him, he ends up with the Swiss manager. That's the timeline there in terms of fashion. But anyway, I actually thought Turkey were well. Yeah, in the end, they were well worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. They they earned it. Um, so to circle back to the initial question, like I said about the US at the start of the pod, they've been riding a wave of vibes. Does the gut punch nature of the loss do anything to dent it?
Do you know what? It separates the wheat from the chaff a bit because I think the casual soccer fan is going to be like, "Hey, we lost to a team that are going out. That's not good." Um, you know the Paris Hilton cohort of American soccer now that we're. I'm sure the conversation between Ed Norton and Brad Pitt was along those lines. Well, does this mean anything? And I'm sure Norton sat Pitt down. I would say that's the way it went and explained to him that's okay. Although Norton, the way he clasped his hands at the US opener, it seemed as if this was his first sporting event ever.
At least
Such,
Brad Pitt had gear on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Norton had a Radiohead t-shirt.
Yeah, I know, but like Brad Pitt at least had it. He was at least repping.
Kind of
Uh,
respect the Radiohead
I
t-shirt.
know, I know.
But so here's my here's
As
my
a
point.
quick aside though, for that, um, I gotta say, man, I am so incredibly over the celebrity cutaways during these broadcasts.
Thank you.
I'm so over it, and
It's desperate.
it's nothing personal against these celebrities. I'm a huge fan of pretty much every single one of them that they showed, but like
Sorry, who was the pallid blonde lady they showed? Who was that?
the
I
what?
said there was a lady with kind of pale, but she blonde hair. We'll say she's in her 50s with, like I said, pale skin, blonde hair.
I don't know if I remember that one.
So me and Darcy were like, who's that?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just know again, like it's all. I think Brad Pitt is the man. I love Edward Norton is incredible. I love Owen Wilson. I love Will Ferrell hugely. I love all of these people.
I don't need to
But
see any more Ferrell.
I'm just like there's just a part of me that's just like we get it. They're not better than any of us. Stop. And
But
like
but you remember
I've kind
this
of had, and it's also come at the expense of
moments.
not that I need. Well, I wouldn't say moments because I don't feel like we're necessarily missing action, but like it has now come at the expense of crowd shots. And some people may say, well, who cares? Those are meaningless too.
No, we
But
want to
like,
see the baddies in the crowd.
but like those build in some way, those do build tension. Like if it's a tense moment in a game, you have like the stock shot of like a fan with his hand up over his mouth in some way, or like hands on the back of the head, or like it can help paint a little bit of the narrative as opposed to just like two celebrities having some random conversation and not seeming engaged in the sporting event. Like,
Right.
we get it, we get it.
Yeah.
I'm just, it's a personal pet peeve of mine, and I think it's not Fox, but the FIFA feed has like whoever's in there, they've just gone nuts. They're just like they are just. They're not used to it, and so they can't get enough. There's another
Th-
one. Oh my God, get that one over there. There's another one. Like they can't stop.
that's true. So there was so I went to Bruce Springsteen 2 years ago in MSG, and we had really good floor standing tickets. And by the way, it was such a long, engaging concert. It's unbelievable to be in your 70s and still be able to do that is amazing. And
Yeah.
but immediately to our right was Ben Stiller and his wife. Like, I mean, 10, 15 yards, 20
Uh-huh.
yards
Uh-huh.
tops. They're right there. And the friend of mine that I was with could not stop pointing it out. Like it wasn't enough to note it once. And I'm like, are you distracted now? Because I looked over and I saw them and I was like, ah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like Stiller grows in respect for me over time. He's one of those guys that I think is so cool. And he's there and to me, he's a proper New Yorker. But like I was done when I saw them the first time.
Right.
I feel as if the producers are like, oh, there's another one, like exactly what
Yeah.
you're saying, and another one, and there's another one.
They're
I mean,
obsessed with it.
how deep do they want to go? Like that's my question.
Like what
What's the
level?
yeah? How obscure of a celebrity do you want to go? Like if Carrot Top is there,
Right.
Do you focus on Carrot Top?
That would not surprise me in the least.
Are you serious?
Would not surprise me.
What about is Johnny Knoxville big enough?
Yeah, well, they have a movie out now. So like
Yeah.
he's actually on like he's in the news cycle right now.
Who's insuring those guys in their early 50s or late
It's
40s, early 50s?
yeah,
Who the hell is doing that?
it's something.
But
Uh,
I'm trying to think of the lowest level that would be acknowledged. Like who's an obscure comedy reference or TV reference from
um
the 90s?
uh like hey, there's Michael Richards.
No, Michael Richards is
You're
amazing.
right, Kramer.
Yeah,
Uh
God, all timer.
but
But for an international
he just
audience,
hasn't been in anything in
no.
30
Well,
years.
yeah,
That's
we
what
know.
that's
We
why
all
that
know why.
right. I'm just saying like that's like I don't
Yeah, I
know.
wonder. Like, I'm trying to see, like, would it be someone from the comedy, say like The War at Home that had two seasons and was canceled after the second season, right?
What a reference.
Yeah. Would what's his name? Rappaport. That d bag. Would he get noticed?
Yeah, probably. Oh, hey, look, there's Devon Sawa.
Seven Sawa.
Uh, he was like a kid act. He was in like Little Giants and Casper. He's very much of an
Oh, I
era.
got one. I got one. I got one.
Yeah. Okay.
And here's Grammy nominated Snow, who sang Informer. You know,
Oh my God.
boom boom da. Would he make it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm just you're right though. It's too much.
Guys, there's Mark Paul Gosselaar. Go quick. All right, we got him. All right, back to the game, everyone. Anyway,
But
um,
it's a good point because it did get too much, but it's got too much way before this game. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
the official position of this podcast is that while this loss was a gut punch and it would have been really cool for the U.S. to go unbeaten in a group stage with 2 wins and a draw, or God forbid 3 wins, um, there's no need to ring alarm bells. That's our
That is
official position.
that is my official position.
Okay.
I would also like to further that position into a bit of bombast. Not bombast. That's not true.
Okay.
Um, we've already asserted that it would be a significant failure not to be able to get over the hurdle that is Bosnia.
Yeah.
I would go as far as to say with this game, if you were meeting Turkiye in the round of 32, I'd be much more scared than if I was meeting Bosnia.
I,
I think that's a fair point to make.
sure. I don't think anybody would tell you. I mean, look, Bosnia and Herzegovina, they looked good against Qatar in a game that they needed. Um,
Yeah.
you know, they lost, what was it, 4-1 to Switzerland in a weird game though. Wasn't that 0-0 in like the 73rd or something?
Yeah, I had posted on our social media that this was a game for the sickos. It was a turgid wonder, and then Mamzani and those guys kind of just clicked into gear and destroyed them.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
even then, they scored a nice goal. But look,
the
I think
US the US have to win. It's a game that this team has to win, and I would expect them to because they're going in healthy. Like I said, they'll have their preferred 11 for this
uh,
one. Playing at home, I mean, what an occasion. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Santa Clara.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Wednesday, July 1st. Um,
It's
so
amazing. It's set up, I think, for a US victory. I really feel that, and that's not me being arrogant. That's me having watched both teams and assessed both sides. And I mean, there's significant cohort of our Canadian listeners who would have said we should have beaten Bosnia in that opening game.
mhm.
Like, but I know they didn't, and I'm not. I would say that they're again. We talked about how full of pride Turkey were and how they needed to get something to take home with them. Bosnia will be very similar. This is a country. Um, we saw how emotional one of his few real moments of this tournament. How emotional Zlatan got about Bosnia's advancement in the tournament, because he said that's where his father came from or where he
Mm.
had heritage from.
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I mean he's obviously Balkan with that last name.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, he was moved by it, and to see them all singing together. And so I'm not trying to dismiss them. I think they'll be obdurate and difficult opponents, but in terms of like pound for pound talent, how many players off the Bosnian side would you say you will take now and insert into the US side? I wouldn't say any.
No.
So let's not pretend. Um, it would be it would put such a dampened and grey, a black color on things if you've just beaten Paraguay and Australia and gone out to Bosnia. That come on, guys.
Totally agree. The fear in these games is that if Bosnia want to set up and make this incredibly difficult for the US and not really try to, as they would say, not play soccer. Like if they want to just defend and try to challenge
Mm,
the US to find a way through them. Look, the US um, has shown in certain moments that they can, in this tournament, they can get through these defensive-minded teams. I mean, Paraguay in qualifying in CONMEBOL were, I mean, very few teams were able to score against them. Australia, we saw what they did in the first game against Turkiye, and the U.S. have found a way to score goals. So you would expect that the U.S. should find a way through Bosnia and Herzegovina, but it's not always that easy. It's just not. And there are some like what just happened to England, who are loaded with Kane, Bellingham, real superstars of the sport, um, couldn't find a way through Ghana. Like that stuff can happen against teams. Doesn't mean that necessarily you're a bad team all of a sudden. It's just that's just soccer. Like teams that want to defend the game, sometimes there's a reason a lot of these smaller teams do that. That gives them their best chance. So that's the concern. It's just like you get one of those nights where the U.S. They don't score, they don't get the benefit of an own goal, which the U.S. got in both the Paraguay and Australia games to start the scoring off. Maybe that a bounce like that doesn't go their way. They don't get a blast from, outside the box like they got from Berhalter tonight. Goals like that, Reyna and the type of goal he scored in the first game like that. You just don't know sometimes. So that's the fear is not going to be that like Bosnia are going to light them up. The fear is going to be that Bosnia just are not going to let them through.
and that they're going to do something on a set piece like they did against Canada, and the
Or
next
it goes
thing.
to penalties. And then who the hell knows? That's
Exactly. And they already have come through the penalty gauntlet in qualifying. So
yep, against Italy.
they would be, I think they'd be quite happy to do that.
Sure.
Sure, you're right in that sense. But I would like to restate that the official position of Caught Offside LLC is that tonight's game ultimately does not impact the future progress of the U.S. men's national team.
Have you started thinking yet about the uh the stress of a US penalty shootout? That's uncharted territory. The US have had extra time, obviously, in past World
Mm.
Cups against Belgium in 2014, against Ghana in 2010. Um, but we've never we've never experienced the stress.
Now you've put the stress on me because I ultimately went to who's my five.
Okay.
Now, the problem with that is we can't do that right now because that's game state related.
Who's going
Some
to be on the
guys,
field?
exactly, at that point. So yeah, you've added stress to my life now before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. At 1:28 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it's late. Good Lord.
Who are you? Who do you think you are?
Good Lord. Um, JJ, this was a hell of a group stage. The U.S. brought a lot of really positive feelings
Mm.
back into not just American soccer fans, but American sports fans. A lot of people, it's easy to forget now. Like the groups, it's only been what, a couple weeks, but like it does feel like our perception of this team has just it's changed so much. We entered this tournament in such a shaky place. The friendlies have been so hot and cold. Even the friendlies coming into this one, Senegal was good enough. Germany was how like I said, it kind of looked like a lot of US friendlies. I don't know that it instilled a lot of belief in me that we're ready for the biggest teams. By the way, we haven't played those teams yet. Um,
And we're
and
not going to for another round.
could be at least another round or two, who knows? Um, but yeah, there was a lot of uncertainty about how this was going to go for the U.S. And if you can take a step back and kind of remove yourself from the general frustration of losing the way that they did tonight, hugely successful group stage for the U.S. to have
Definitely.
put themselves in a position where their third group stage match didn't even effing matter. I mean, it's it's great, man. It's great. And we're healthy, like I said. No yellow card danger going into this next game. You got to feel good about where the team is at. So keep the vibes up. I will say it was a bit of a weird look that they still played Country Roads
No,
after
no, no, wrong. Keep it going. Don't ever stop.
after the loss.
Keep it going. We play You'll Never Walk Alone after losses. You keep it going. What are you?
Yeah, all right. I guess I hadn't thought about that. I guess I've only seen it played so far in the context of like joy. And
Yeah.
so it felt odd and uncomfortable to me. Sometimes I just am like, let's just all exit. Let's just leave let's just get out of here. Um,
Okay, okay. But like, all
but
right.
no,
Can
I get what you're saying though. You're not wrong.
can we just
Uh,
have a quick because don't worry, we're going to talk about other things over the course of the next few pods, but just the round of 32 as we have it right now. So we have South Africa against Canada. What a plum draw for Canada.
can I bring up something quickly for you about South Africa made it through by virtue of beating South Korea.
They're dreadful. South Africa
So
are one of the worst teams I've seen at the tournament, and somehow they're in the round of 32.
are you
What in the
following?
Christ is this?
Are you following what's going on with South Korea here? So
Yeah, I
we
saw.
obviously we thought it was very odd when Sun was brought off in the 57th minute in the previous game against Mexico. And then he did not start this game. He's their captain. He's the god of South Korean football. He's probably the greatest Asian football player of all time. While he's not son of 4 years ago or even 2 years ago, like he is still a player that presumably you want out on the field. Now I do know he came on at halftime, but I know the South Korean manager is getting absolutely pilloried
Did you hear
for
some of the
this.
questions that were asked of him? He
Was
was
was the
asked by
thing
one
about the
guy. He said, "Did the team have food poisoning?" Because that's the only way to explain that performance.
yeah um it just and I mean we I don't know, like it's interesting because we talk about Ronaldo and if Roberto Martinez or whoever like
Sue.
can can will they have the courage to drop him? Um, Son is not Ronaldo. He doesn't have the legacy or the gravitas necessarily of Ronaldo. But in South Korea, he's Ronaldo, like he's their
Oh
Ronaldo.
no, he is 100%.
And so like they did that manager did the thing. He dropped the Ronaldo of South Korean football and they lost. It didn't work, and he's going to lose his job. I mean, now South Korea might still are they still into the round? See, that's the thing about this expanded tournament that, like I said, has really bothered
No, we
me
got to
is
wait till Saturday. I don't know. Are they fully cooked?
I don't know. I don't know the state of
Because
them
they
right
had their
now.
win over Czechia.
Right. And so that might wind up still
I
being
are
enough.
they in the Scottish nether zone or are they in the dentist waiting room with Scotland? And
I,
Steve
I
Clark, we're
I'll have
going
to
home.
see.
We're going. Do you see that? We're going home. He was
Yeah.
asked the question.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we're going home. Don't. What are you
He was
saying?
he should not have met the media the other night. And that's cowardly. Like you have to as the coach, you have to like you have to be the forward-facing person from the organization. But like, he was in no place to be speaking publicly. He was so mad about that performance,
Oh yeah, he really was.
and
He really
he
was.
said a lot of stuff that maybe he'd want to have back. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
So the other round of 32 confirmed Brazil and Japan. That's going to be tasty,
yeah.
tasty.
God, I would have loved to have seen a full-strength Japan.
Oh my
I'm
God.
so bummed about that.
Yeah. Well, the other one confirmed is Netherlands and Morocco.
Probably, I mean, we'll see what other matches are confirmed, but that on paper is probably the match of the round.
That is a belter, and obviously the U.S. and Bosnia and Herzegovina. I can't wait for the Seinfeld-esque Larry David jokes. Hey, listen, if we were playing Bosnia, I'd give us a chance. But both Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Bosnia I can deal with, but the Herzegovina, come on now. Bow, ba-ding, bow, bow. Da-da-da-da.
What an absolute insult to the greatest comedy of all time for
Was
you to
that
think
bad?
that that's a joke that would make it into that
Was
show.
that bad? Was that bad?
You owe an apology to the cast, to Larry David, to the writers. Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
Bosnia and Herzegovina?
I saw
What's
a
the
sh
deal? Yeah, no, no, no.
I saw,
That's
yeah, yeah. That's sorry. That is pastiche. It's poor. It's rote, and I apologize for
it
it.
was very rote.
I saw a short on YouTube. By the way, you can go over to YouTube at Caught Offside.
Yeah, we found.
We found the password to our YouTube. So if you want to go and actually watch us, you can do that, and you can see our shorts, and you can like them, and you will like them.
And I will also tell everyone right now that we are a two-man crew, neither of whom have any real video editing experience. So, hey, what you get is what you get. All right.
Yeah, honestly, our audio is our medium. Look at our faces. Audio is our medium. But anyways,
Hey,
I
I look
saw.
like Ben Affleck. Speak for yourself.
Honestly, I thought it was interviewing. I was talking to Matt Freeze today when you jumped on. Um, but it was a Jason Alexander short from his really good podcast. His podcast is great.
Oh, I haven't heard it.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, no, it is funny. It's good. But it's not just that it's funny; it's informative. Um, but Jason Alexander goes how people come up to him and say, "Hey, aren't you George?" They literally say it in the street,
Mhm.
and he said that his agent worked so hard to convince the network that in the credits, and you'll notice it in the credits, it's not everyone comes up, um, Jerry Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and when it comes to George, it's Jason Alexander as George. He got the as. He got the as character in the lineup, and his agent did that deliberately. They really wanted to do that. It has
To
made
make it
no.
to make it feel like he's what the featured performer. What was the goal there? I don't know
The
that I'm
goal there
following.
was to differentiate. I think that they thought that the nature of the character was going to mean this guy would be forever George. Now it's worked out that he has been forever George. There's just like he's done stuff with his directing company, his production company, the whole thing. But he will never be anything other than George.
Right.
But I think they realized that early and they said, we better get you as Jason Alexander, as George. So it's a promotional tool more than anything.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um, a couple of final notes here. Great drama, Ecuador and Germany. Amazing scenes for Ecuador to pull that out against a good German side. I know they were already clinched. JJ, I have a question for you. Do you have
Mm.
any, so from not just watching that game, but in general, I'm going to name a player here in a
Oh,
sec.
God.
Do you have any players out there for you that just so badly confuse you? Are they amazing? Are they terrible? I can't decide. I feel like I've settled into that place with Leroy Sané.
Oh, God.
There are times when I watch him, I'm
Yeah.
like, you're unbelievable. How are you not still starting at Manchester City? What happened there? And there's other times when I'm like, oh, I kind of get it now. I guess Trent Alexander-Arnold kind of falls into that category for me. There's definitely moments of real confusion that we've
Florian
detailed
Wirtz,
with him.
Florian Wirtz might be getting there for me.
But
Oh, I get it.
Sane is one of those where sometimes I watch him, I'm like, your speed, like you're brilliant. And then I don't know, he'll do something else, and I'm just like, nah, I don't. I think maybe I was wrong. He's a player that goes in my confusing 11.
I mean, Cody Gakpo might be right there
Okay.
as well, because he's obviously got certain talents, but they're so specific, and unless those talents actually work all the time, he looks terrible. No, that's a really good shout. And I think we look back on Zane's career and we'll look at the clubs he's played for, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, and we'll think, huh, could have done more.
Maybe. Yeah. That's some of the like inherent confusion that I'm kind of talking about. But Ecuador, I mean, to pull that out the way that they did fairly late on
Oh,
and hang
brilliant.
on, it was just like, and that
And to
crowd
stick the
was,
foot out and flick it in front of Neuer like that was like it was brilliant.
yeah.
That go back to the crowd though, Andrew. What is going on there?
What do you
Um,
mean?
because Ecuador, I'm seeing Ecuador fans everywhere,
I was literally about to say
everywhere,
they
and
have not
they
only
have a
were they,
population of 18 million. Like that's,
dude,
it's, I guess it's significant, but it's also not really. I mean, there's probably as many in the tri-state if you put it all together, and tri-state plus Philly. Um,
not only did the team enter this tournament as a dark horse, if we did a tournament of best fan bases in
they're
this,
class.
they're also the dark horse in that tournament.
Yeah.
Their fans have been unbelievable. Yeah, I didn't know that either, that their support would be quite to the level that it
They're
is.
everywhere, man. I see them when you go into Midtown, when I'm on the subway, when I'm out in Brooklyn. They're absolutely everywhere, and fair play to them. Another one from the 1-1 draw, Dyson Maeda, obviously of Celtic scoring for Japan. Good to see a Scottish player scoring a goal. Ba-dum, bum, bum. Anthony Elanga, Andrew, that was a brilliant goal, really brilliant. And Newcastle fans probably tearing their hair out, like, you just, you just ha- has he equaled his Premier League goal scoring tally for the season? I think he has in the tournament. He scored two in the tournament, and right, that's his second, I think. I'm not
Uh,
sure.
I don't know actually.
Anyway, like
Yeah.
when you see that kind of goal from him, you're I don't know. There's a lot of talent there, and Newcastle certainly. Eddie Howe is not getting the best out of it. Put it
Um,
that way.
Fun slate of games on Friday. Norway, France, one of the most highly anticipated matchups of the group stage. That both teams coming in with two wins. That will decide who wins the group. I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on that one. That's at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. Senegal and Iraq also in action. That's in Toronto. The 8 o'clock slate, so that you got a 3 o'clock and then an 8 o'clock. Some the spacing out of some of these
It's
matches is a
bizarre.
little bit
We
confusing to
started
keep
at
up with.
4 o'clock today, Andrew.
Yeah, I don't entirely know the logic sometimes behind how these decisions are made, but whatever. This is how it is. Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia at NRG Stadium in Houston. That also at the same time as Uruguay and Spain. A fun one.
So can I
Fun
ask
one
you for a
there.
prediction on Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia?
Uh,
So,
I'm gonna ride that Cape Verde wave.
oh God, wouldn't it be so depressing if just the huge, vast money that's gone into Saudi Arabian football and Saudi Arabian coaching just ends up being too much for Cape Verde? Like, or that Cape Verde are just too tired after the exertions of drawing with Spain and then drawing with Uruguay. By Uruguay, Spain on Friday. What a weird vibe that's going to be.
I've seen some stuff. I don't know how legit it is, but like the tension by some reports in the Uruguayan camp between the key players of the team and Marcelo Bielsa is reaching
Boiling point.
it seems like it's reaching a level of untenability.
They are
Uh,
not bought in on his methods.
no,
They are
and
rejecting the
it
methods.
sounds like it's some of the key players. And yeah, I
Fede
don't
Valverde in particular was named, but I can't speak to the efficacy of these reports
right.
or whether they're legit or not. I don't know.
But we do know that some of this has been talked about. This isn't necessarily a new thing. It's been ongoing for a while. Um, And
And
if they crash out or if it's a bad performance,
I mean, he's gone anyway.
yeah,
He's
absolutely.
gone anyway. He's not lasting past this tournament.
Yeah.
Um, and we saw like one thing about Take Me Home, the Leeds United documentary, which is definitely worth a watch, or a rewatch, is the intensity of the training and the demands on the players. And I think if those demands are day to day in a football club, you can accept them easier than if you're suddenly brought from the outside to camps. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it's if it's every day, you can acclimatize and get used to it. But if it's March, oh my God, I'm coming off football. I have to go and do this now.
Mhm.
Thank God that's over. Break, 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 break. May, World Cup camp. Oh, we're back in this again. Oh, break, games. Oh, I can't take this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a way to get inured to what he does and just to fall into the system like the Leeds players did if it's every single day. But if you're going back to your club to a totally different environment and then you have to go back to Bielsa's gulag,
Well,
that's got to that's
I
got to be
mean,
tough.
that's what Pochettino's is. I mean, those trainings, every player, they all commented on the intensity of training under him, how it's different than anything they had experienced with the national team.
I would say they're in a better moment
And
in
also, isn't
terms.
is Pochettino sort of a Bielsa disciple?
No, he is. They're all. If
Yeah.
you do the Bielsa coaching tree, you can even branch off. I know the major branch for the Johan Cruyff coaching tree is Pep Guardiola,
Okay.
but Guardiola definitely has Bielsa. What would you say? Bielsa tendencies. So maybe the roots are or the branches are entangled in a way. But Pochettino is a Bielsa disciple. Um, Jurgen Klopp in a way is a Bielsa
Hmm.
disciple. They're like they all
Yeah.
are. They all come. I mean, there's different strands. Some of them go back to the former manager of Dynamo Kiev, who really pushed pressing in the late '80s as well. So,
Okay.
look,
Um, and then just quickly to round out your slate on Friday, the 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time slate at Lumen Field in Seattle, Egypt and Iran, and also same time as New Zealand and Belgium. Belgium are one of the teams that I know that's a late one. See if I can hang for the entirety of that, but like they have not looked good, and I'm curious. Like they got New Zealand now. There's they're one of these teams like in no excuses territory. They better win that game.
oh my God,
They better win that game.
yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely. Also,
um,
the Egypt and Iran game is the pride game,
yeah,
and the host city Seattle have billed it as such, and they claim it always was going to be. And FIFA are saying, that we didn't sign up to that. And you've basically got two teams who are um,
not okay
Islamic
with it.
Islamic nations.
Yeah,
Look, you don't. Nobody wants to hear what their favorite Islamic or Muslim player is going to have to say about uh, homosexuality. It's just a fact. So we're heading for a mess. I don't know how it's handled. I don't know what um, how they deal with it, or whether they abandon any semblance of showing it as a pride event.
well, FIFA has already said that they won't prohibit the rainbow flags at the Egypt-Iran match. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to all manifest itself.
Hmm.
It's unfortunate, but also not surprising, I guess, that that's turned into a semi-large controversy.
Yeah, not really.
That's
I
disappointing.
mean, we flagged this one from way out, so
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
JJ, before we go, I just wanted to let you know on Saturday, it looks as though I'm headed to Ghana, Croatia.
Oh, lovely for you because you get to venerate at the altar of Luka Modric.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Honestly, of all the games in my life that I've ever been to that didn't involve like a team of mine,
Hmm.
um, it's probably the most excited I've ever been.
Oh man, well, it's your first World Cup game, as it
Yep.
was mine, England Ghana. It's
And I don't
great
know
that
when I'll get to another.
well, it's great that we get to experience this. We both have within the space of a week. I think it's right that we get to go to games.
It's interesting that we're both seeing Ghana.
Yeah, let me tell you, friend.
I know. I was going to say, of all the teams, we've selected the one that are most hell-bent on not really entertaining the crowd. But
Um,
I'm excited about Croatia. Look, I'm excited to see Semenyo as well for Ghana. I love that guy. He's a brilliant player. And I'm excited. Like there's real stakes. It's the last group stage match, and it's a huge one for both of these teams. So um,
I would
I
hope
can't wait.
I hope Carlos Queiroz lets the handbrake off a little bit and lets Semenyo do more than he did against England. But it's a different opposition, so probably that will be the case. And Senegal, you get to see Sadio Mane. Ah, still brilliant.
What did you wear, by the way, to the game that you went to? I'm already thinking about what's appropriate attire.
Oh, I was going to an England game, so I wore just a black t-shirt,
Okay.
and that was it. I did not uh, black t-shirt and shorts. I did not. There
Okay.
was no way I was showing my. So my sister texted me, obviously because of our well, our shared views on England, and she goes, "Please, your nieces want to know that if you wore a Ghana jersey or not." So, if I had one, I might have worn it. But I
Okay.
also felt I was there on professional duties as well. I did a podcast the following morning, outlining England's, which you can listen to
Hmm.
if you subscribe to Caught Off Plus. The link is in the description of this podcast. And so I felt as if I owed it to really lock in and concentrate on the game. And I did. And I gave it all away. I gave away all Thomas Tuchel's tactical nuances or lack thereof on that podcast from Boston. So yeah, no, I was a neutral observer, Andrew.
Okay.
I
There
was
will
very
be
much like very much the UN. I was the UN. There I was.
understood. There will be nothing professional about my appearance at that game.
You're gonna have to do a diary about it.
Nothing professional about it. I
Are you
can't
gonna wear
wait.
are you gonna wear something Modric related?
I don't think I own anything Modric related.
Uh,
But I'll probably find some kind of neutral. Like I mentioned, we talked about this. Whatever neutral soccer gear I can find is what I think. I have a couple shirts that could fit the bill. Well, we'll see. Who knows? Stay tuned, everyone. I know you're all very on the edge of your seat by this. JJ, I got nothing else. We have reached like 2 a.m. level conversation here.
Dude, yeah, we
So
are. I mean, we are on
it's
the
time.
ropes. We're on the
Yeah.
ropes. Come on, it's time for bed to crawl into bed. Also, um, because we do this from our apartments, the cat has taken a dump in the litter box adjacent to me, and that
Yeah.
needs.
And I'm in my parents' basement because I'm in Philadelphia. I'm going to the game at the Link in a
Hmm.
day and a half, so I'm just staying here. And there, I'm in the basement here, and a really large centipede has been just kind of wandering around me, and that's like I'm fine with bugs, but big centipedes are particularly unnerving. So if you've seen me over the last 40 minutes of our recording, just like periodically looking around, that's why. That bug freaks me out, man.
So, can I tell you that a centipede-like creature, but thicker of body,
Okay.
which makes it much worse.
Yeah, yeah.
I was having a shower. I think it was last summer. Emerged suddenly from the drain.
Oh, that's the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, and I am lathered up, baby. I
Oh,
shot out of the bathtub.
yeah.
There was no one in the apartment, thank God. Roisin was aware. She would have been, Daya, what is wrong? And I ran and I got a pot from the kitchen, and I'm
Uh-huh.
putting there's foam everywhere. There's
Oh,
wet
jeez.
and everything,
Yeah.
and I scooped him into the pot, being the I suppose humanist that I am or animal lover. I spent 10 minutes trying to get this mother effer into the pot and put the lid on it, and I released him onto the fire escape. This thing was fat.
Yeah, I got
He was a big boy, and I nearly slipped getting out of the bathtub. And let me tell you, it's a New York apartment. Things are tight.
mhm.
I came so close to cracking my face off the marble kind of plinth that's at the end of it. By the way, this sounds posh. It's not posh. It's just a little bit of
I
a
don't have a
devo-
marble plinth, and you make
it.
fun of my house all the time as being some castle.
Andrew, I'm currently looking at your parents' basement, and to your right, I can see a pool table. So steady on there, pal. You've got some home comforts there. I slipped and just put my hand on top of it's like, oh, that is nice. It's like a divider between the bathtub shower and the sink. Andrew, I would have opened my face like it would have been surgery.
You don't want to mess with a plinth. JJ, I got nothing else. All right. I've enjoyed this immensely. Even though
What are we doing here?
Even
This
though
is
the
too
U.S.
much.
lost tonight, there's still at least one more game for us to cover, and we can't wait to do it. It is a huge one. We'll be all over it, of course. I look forward to attending my first ever World Cup match this weekend. JJ, to you, I say,
Check you later, fun boy.
I'll see you.
Take care.
You've been listening to the Caught Offside Soccer Podcast.